Today we have many different high-tech cameras that range from small webcams on computers to large DSLRs used for professional photography and filmmaking. During the time of the Civil War, these cameras weren't around yet, so in order to take pictures of the war, photographers had to use wet plate photography to show what happened on the battlefield. The wet plate process was a long process, but produces an image with very fine detail. Although it's not very common, there are still wet plate photographers who use the following process. The first step in the wet plate process is to cut the glass plate, which will contain the picture. Once the glass is cut, the edges of the glass plates need to be deburred so that the photographer doesn't get cut from the glass when handling it. Once the glass plates have smooth edges, it needs to be cleaned so that the collodion won't peel from the plate. Next, the photographer flows the plate with collodion. This step takes a lot of technique and will determine how smooth the plate will be and the amount of defects the plate will have. Once the collodion on the plate has set, the photographer will put the plate into a bath of silver nitrate for 3 to 4 minutes. Now the preparation is complete and it is time to take the picture. To take the picture, the plate has to be exposed to the subject for anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on the lighting and how the photographer wants the picture to turn out. Once the plate is exposed to the subject, it needs to be developed. This step only takes 15 to 20 seconds, but the photographer needs to make sure it is not overdeveloped or underdeveloped. The final step of this process is to fix the plate with potassium cyanide. This is when the plate changes from a bluish negative to a crisp black and white positive. When this process was first introduced in 1851, people who didn't understand chemistry were amazed by how a picture would appear in front of their eyes once a clear liquid was poured onto a glass plate. This process was used widely throughout the Civil War, and soldiers would have their pictures taken to send to their families outside of the war.